Now you want to know the price. How much does it cost? Hello world! Welcome back to another episode of Shanay Meets World. In today's video, Black Girl Teaching Moroccan Arabic, I am going to teach you all of the transportation phrases that you need in order to travel Morocco like a pro. I remember the first time I traveled around Morocco solo, I was so nervous. It was the very first time that the Peace Corps was sending us to live with our host families for a week. And we had to go by ourselves. Well, I had to go by myself because I was the only person that was living in the community where I was assigned. And I had to take one bus and one taxi for a 3-hour ride in total just to get to the city, Oulmes, where I was going to be living for the 2 years of my Peace Corps service. And my Arabic was just at the point where I was comfortable saying, hi, how are you, thank you, you know, the basic phrases. But it ended up being very fine because I met a girl who actually sat right next to me in the taxi station. She was a younger girl around my age. And I asked her if I was going in the right direction, and she was actually very kind. She ended up calling my host mom for me to let her know that I was on my way. And then when we got to the first taxi station, she instructed me to stay at the taxi station, don't leave, and to wait for the bus that was coming to pick us up to take us to that city. But now that I've been in Morocco, I am so comfortable traveling around the country and just figuring things out as I go along. And I would say that living abroad has helped me, and I'm going to help you by giving you the language you need to travel around Morocco and connect with people so that you can get to where you need to go and explore the country. The great thing about public transportation in Morocco is that there are several forms of public transportation. And to be honest, I have used every form of public transportation, including a camel. Granted, the camel was just a tour experience. I wasn't actually going anywhere. I was just touring around the desert. But, you know, that's still a fun experience, and I had the opportunity to ride a camel. I just want to remind you that I am on my journey to 1,000 subscribers, and I do have a giveaway currently still active. It's very easy. All you have to do is share a post of any video that I've created. You can share it on your social media platforms and tag me. And then you have the opportunity to win a $50 iTunes gift card. I've broken it down into traveling within the city, traveling from city to city, and then I'll go into the phrases that you need in order to do both. When traveling between cities, there are several options. There's the CTM, Supertour, the train station, the Souk buses, the taxi station, and then there's also airport transportation. Now, jumping right into it. The CTM bus is a nationwide bus. So this bus has very specific arrival and departure times, and they have reserved seating. So you have to purchase your ticket in advance with the CTM. You can purchase it at the counter, or you can also purchase it online. I normally purchase my CTM ticket at the counter because they've always been in close distance where I can just walk to the station and get my ticket. Another benefit of the CTM bus station is that the CTM allows you to send unaccompanied baggage. And when I was moving from Oulmes to Marrakech, I ended up sending my larger bags to Marrakech before I arrived there. The next form of transportation are the Souk buses. The Souk buses are in every major city, and this is the bus station where it's not as predictable. So when you go to ride a Souk bus, these buses are privately owned, and majority of the time they don't leave on schedule because their priority is filling the bus. They want to make sure that every seat is filled before they pull out of that station. And once they're filled, then they're on the road, and then they'll begin to pick people up throughout the journey. And one thing I'll recommend, that if you are pressed for time, if you need to get somewhere at a scheduled time, then I definitely don't recommend Souk buses. If you can afford to take the CTM, then I definitely recommend it. It's not astronomical how much the difference in price is between the CTM and the Souq buses. And sometimes they could be the same price, but most of the time it's usually about a 20 to 50 dirham difference between the price of riding the CTM and the price of riding the Souq buses. If you're taking a Souq bus and you're traveling long distance, then I recommend you purchase your ticket in advance. And you can do this by just going to the bus station a day early, purchasing your ticket so that you know the time that the bus is scheduled to leave. Again, it won't leave at that exact time, but you need to be there at that time. The next form of transportation is the train. This is another very popular form of transportation, and you can purchase your tickets for the train in person, or you can purchase them online. The train only goes to the major cities like Marrakech, like Casablanca, Rabat, and Tanja. And in between those routes, they stop at smaller cities. But if the city is not in that route, then you'll have to take the train to the nearest location and then take a bus from there or a taxi from there. And it depends on where you're going. Because I know a lot of volunteers who lived in the Agadir region, they would take the train from our training sessions in Rabat, take it to Marrakech, and then from Marrakech they would go to the bus station or the CTM station, and they'll take the bus to continue their journey, or they'll take a grand taxi to continue their journey. Which leads us into the next form of transportation, which is the grand taxi. The grand taxi stations, again, are like the Souq buses. They're in every major city, and even the smaller cities. We had grand taxis in Oulmes that took us to and from the larger city that I was closest to, which is Khamisset. In places like Rabat, Casablanca, and Marrakech, there are all types of stations where they have grand taxi pickups, because you may live in Casablanca, but Casablanca is so large that you live on the other side of town. And there are grand taxis that will take you from one side of town to the next. So it's not just that the grand taxis go from Casablanca to Rabat, but they actually have grand taxis that are within the city, and they go from one neighborhood to the next, depending on how far they are from the city center. Grand taxis are pay per seat, or you can pay for the entire taxi. Let's talk about the different modes of transportation getting to and from the airport. In Rabat, there is a bus that goes to and from the airport regularly. In Casablanca, there's the train station that goes to the airport. In Marrakech, there's a bus and taxis that go to the airport. And then in Tanja, there are taxis that go to the airport. Now you may be wondering, what is it like to travel within the city? There are several modes of transportation as well. There's the tram, and the tram is an intercity train station that's above ground. It will take you to and from different neighborhoods around the city. And the main places that I've ridden the tram is Rabat and Casablanca. Then there's also the very popular petite taxis, which you can find everywhere. All you have to do is flag down a taxi, and they will stop and pick you up. When you get into the taxi, make sure to always ask the driver to work the counter. I'm gonna teach you that phrase today, by the way. You always wanna ask just to be sure that you're being charged fairly. Keep in mind that the prices will change depending on the day and also depending on the driver. As we get into this lesson, I am super excited to continue teaching you Moroccan Arabic, also known as Darija. If you decide to move to Morocco or visit Morocco, at least you'll have some basis of the language. The first phrase is taxi, which is taxi, taxi. If I want to say grand taxi, I will say taxi kabir. If I want to say small taxi, I'll say taxi saghar. The city bus is tobis, tobis. A charter bus, like a CTM bus or a Supertour bus, those are called lugar, lugar. And the train is train, train. It's that French R that is kind of hard for me to pronounce, so I'll do my best, but If you can't understand me, it's just how I'm pronouncing it, but it's just train. Where is the taxi stand? Fin blasa de taxiet. Fin blasa de taxiet. Turn on the meter, please. You'll use this when you get into the small taxis. You'll ask the driver to turn on the meter. Qdim kontour afek. Qdim kontour afek. Stop here, please is also another phrase that you can use with grand taxis, or you can use them with small taxis or the Souk bus, depending on if you need to get out before the actual destination drop-off point is. Stop here, please is waqaf hinaya afek. Waqaf hinaya afek. If you're traveling between cities, you want to ask, which bus do I need to take if I want to go to Rabat? Ashmin Tobis, Khasni Nqul, Ilya Brit Mshi Rabat. Ashmin Tobis, Khasni Nqul, Ilya Brit Mshi Rabat. Can you stop here, please? Wesh yamkin lik twaqfa hinaya. Wesh yamkin ليك توقفة هنايا. Bus station. المحطة الكيران. المحطة الكيران. If you want to know the time the bus is leaving, you can ask, when does the bus leave to Rabat? فوقاش كيخرجوا القار الرباط. فوقاش كيخرجوا القار الرباط. If you want to know the time that you will arrive to a destination, you can ask, when does the bus arrive to Rabat? فوقاش كيوصل القار الرباط. فوقاش كيوصل القار الرباط. How much is a ticket to Rabat? بشحال الورق للرباط. بشحال الورق للرباط. Now, you get onto the bus and you see that there are only a couple of seats open and you're not sure which ones are actually free or not. And so you walk up to that person and you can ask them, Wash had blasa khawia? Wash had blasa khawia? The train station. Lagar, lagar. Where do they sell tickets, please? Fin ke qata l'waraq afek. Fin ke qata l'waraq afek. I hope you enjoyed learning those 12 phrases as much as I did sharing them with you. I'm ready for you to get out on that road and travel Morocco like a pro. So if you're ready, then use those words and explore the country. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and support me on my journey to 1,000 subscribers. If you have already subscribed and you're coming back to watch this video, hey. If there are phrases that you want to learn, please put them in the comments below. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye.